Hello and welcome. I'm Melinda Akinwami. Tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari signs 4 bills into law granting financial autonomy to state judiciaries and assemblies, amongst other things. Former President Obasanjo alleges plot to silence him through arrest and detention on trumped-up charges. Federal government describes allegations as frivolous. An overview of arguments that have trailed the declaration of June 12 as Nigeria's New Democracy Day and national honors conferred on Chief MKO Abiola and others. And Durban High Court adjourns corruption trial of former South African President Jacob Zuma to July the 27th.
And on business news tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari appoints Folashodun Shonubi, a mechanical engineer, as a deputy governor at the Central Bank of Nigeria.
On sports news tonight, FIFA suspends Ghana Football Association President Kwesi Nyantakye from football for 90 days while under investigation for taking cash gifts in a media undercover sting.
And from Abuja, United States government announces $102 million in humanitarian assistance to Nigeria.
We begin tonight with President Muhammadu Buhari granting financial autonomy to state judiciaries and state houses of assembly after he signed the 4th alteration bill into law. The presidential liaison officer to the National Assembly, Senator Ita Enang, also explained Bill number 16, which is now an act. He says it's to ensure that where a vice president succeeds a president and a deputy governor succeeds a governor, he cannot contest for that office more than once after the initial tenure. Our correspondent Gloria Mizike tells us more.
About 7 days after President Muhammadu Buhari signed the Not Too Young to Run bill at the presidential villa, months after an advocacy for its passage into law, the presidency assented to 4 more bills into laws.
Upon this signature, the amount standing to the credit of the judiciary are now to be paid directly to the judiciary of those states, no more through the governor and no more from the governors. And then the amount standing to the credit of the houses of assembly of the respective states are now to be paid directly to the houses of assembly of that state for the benefit of the legislators and the management of the state houses of assembly. This grants full autonomy now to the judiciary at the state level and the houses of assembly at the state level.
Signing into law a total of 4 bills, Senator Ita Enang discloses that bills number 16 and 21 were equally signed into law.
Determination of pre-election matters. It has reduced the date and time of determining pre-election matters to ensure that pre-election matters in court do not get into the time of the elections and do not pend thereafter. Act or Bill number 16, which is now an act, and the intent of that act is to ensure that where a president or a vice president succeeds the president, and where a governor, a deputy governor succeeds a governor, he can no more contest for that office more than once more.
By signing Bill number 9 into law, INEC is given sufficient time to conduct by-elections, increasing the time from 7 to 21 days, hence widening the latitude of INEC to handle election matters upon a vacancy.
The presidency might say so far so good, with 4 more bills signed into law by the presidency. In addition to the Not Too Young to Run Act, more Nigerians might begin to get hopeful that the president is forging ahead with his promises to move the nation forward. From the presidential villa, Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
The announcement by the president pronouncing June 12 as the nation's New Democracy Day and conferment of national honors on Chief Moshood Abiola and others had been greeted with mixed reactions. Our correspondent Olumide Macaulay gives us an overview of the arguments that have trailed the national honors as expressed by lawmakers, leaders and lawyers.
Like it or not, the late MKO Abiola is about to be honored. But the way it's being done by the presidency is splitting hairs for those who called for due process and those who consider the president to be perfectly in order. Some lawmakers at the House of Representatives indicate the law says the change of date of Democracy Day in Nigeria from May 29th to June 12th cannot be declared by the presidency, as though by the wave of an executive magic wand. Rather, it must be legislated.
If the president intends to change that act, it cannot be by way of a proclamation. It has to come. It has to come as a bill.
The award within which the National Assembly acted, and within that which National Assembly acted, is that this honor is to be given to Mr. President, existing president or former president who are still alive and not done posthumous.
At the Senate, Senator Dino Melaye leaves Nigerians scratching their heads when he says Chief Abiola cannot be awarded the GCFR because he's no longer alive.
A person shall be eligible for appointment to any rank of any order unless he's a citizen of Nigeria. A dead man is not a citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
It gets even better, or worse. Another senator postulates that since Abiola's election was unjustly cancelled, declare him president. That never served as president.
The results of that election was never announced. This is the time for the results to be properly announced by INEC, because government is a continuum, and declare President MKO Abiola as a president.
It's a welcome development. We thank the president.
Governor Ayodele Fayose appears to concur. Maybe that's what he meant when he said that the GCFR can only be conferred on a president or ex.
We equally want to tell the president to go the whole hog. Declare MKO Abiola president of Nigeria because he won the election. Beyond that, you can't give such an award, such recognition, GCFR, without being president of Nigeria. This runs against the Constitution.
Senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, believes the president was correct and acted within the ambits of the law. But former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Alpha Belgore, disagrees. If you listen carefully, you will hardly hear opinions of Chief MKO Abiola being unworthy of the honors. But what you might hear is doubt as to the motive of the presidency, the due process of the same, and the timing of the conferment, its proximity to the elections. As we said at the beginning, the late Chief MKO Abiola is going to be honored, like it or not.
For more insight into some of the controversies that have trailed the president's pronouncement on June 12th, we're now being joined on the news at 10 by human rights lawyer GT Ogunye. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Good evening.
Perhaps the most striking comment so far is the one by Senator Dino Melaye, which said that because Chief MKO Abiola is dead, he's no longer a Nigerian. So what does the law say about this?
Well, clearly, the law does not support that kind of proposition. The National Honors Act, Cap N43, Volume 11, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, does not have any provision prohibiting the conferment of the honors in the honors category to persons who are no more, who are dead, to late Nigerians who are found worthy to receive such an award. And I would therefore say that the president acted properly in accordance with the dictates of the provisions of the Act. The objective of the Act is to give honors, recognition, decorations to Nigerians who are deserving of the honor, who I presume are patriotic, who have served Nigeria in one capacity or the other, and who are deemed worthy to receive the award, even in a posthumous capacity. It's important perhaps to quickly say that if you look at all the honors category, the armed forces warrant, the police warrant, the prison service warrant, the fire service warrant, it's only in one area in the armed forces warrant that you have a reference to a posthumous award, meaning that if a soldier were to die for reason of valor, confronting the enemy and serving Nigeria, it could be offered the award posthumously. Now, in respect of the other category, including the fire service, where a fire service personnel or fighter could die in the course of fire outbreak, rescuing Nigerians, or policeman being killed by armed robbers, there is no mention of posthumous award. Yet, it is inconceivable that a policeman who dies in the course of duty, like the offer 9, could not be offered such posthumous award, because in their own category it's not so stated, whereas for soldiers it is stated. In other words, the point I'm making is that it's not prohibited that the award could be given posthumously.
Mr. Ogunye, I think what some of these people have a problem with is the way the president made the pronouncement. So can you take us through the legal interpretations of some of these arguments raised by them?
Now, well, the act is an act that gives wide discretion to an executive president to exercise his powers. To start with, under Section 1 of the Act, it is the president that creates those honors by warrant.
Okay.
It's not the legislature. By warrant, it can create any category, any honor, any order, right? And he has to do this in accordance with the provision of the Constitution. That's what Section 1, subsection 4 of the Act says. But in the honors category, the president can nominate any person for an award, and that person shall receive that award by coming physically to receive the award, receiving the insignia of that award or that office, and then an instrument, a certificate. However, the provision of Section Article 3, subsection 3, under the honors category, which is a schedule to the Act, provides clearly that the president may dispense with the physical presence of the person or the requirements of granting an insignia of office for the person to wear. For example, somebody who is not physically present, who is late or is dead or is held in an enemy territory.
So he can actually give them these nationals?
He can do that. And if you look elsewhere, for example, in the United States of America, under the provision of Chapter 8 of the U.S. Code, Section 1440, subsection 1, a U.S. soldier who is not an American citizen, and there are about 33,000 of them who fought in Iraq, who died, and so on and so forth, could be granted a posthumous citizenship just for fighting for the United States of America. Not a citizen before, but he died, he would then become a citizen posthumously. So I think that answers the pose raised by Senator Milaye, that a dead Nigerian could not be given an award. Culturally, a dead Nigerian can be given an award. Muslims do their 8-day Fidel prayer and all that. And time to time, they pray for the dead. Christians also do it. Traditionalists do it. So, which means we honor the dead, even in our own climate, culturally. And so, there is nothing in the Act that stipulates that the president cannot do what he has done. And I think that it's in sync with the national mood. Chifemke Abiola, the story is well known all over the world now.
Definitely.
He fought for this country, he fought for democracy, and he sacrificed himself. His wife was also killed in the process. And I think that this kind of award, and many more, which may come, not only to him, but to other Nigerians, Beko Ransom Kuti, Pa Frederiwani, all of them, are very deserving.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. G.T. Ogunye, for speaking with us on the News at 10. And in part 2, after the break, Chairman CEO of Channels Television challenges African media to join the changing digital world of technology by leveraging on international partnership. Please stay with us.